So high and so strong, but the truth's gonna break through before too long. Every single day, the same damn old game, pointing all the fingers, nobody takes the blame. This pressure's building is starting to crack. Ain't no turning back now, ain't no holding back. I'm about to say it, yeah, I'm about to scream. Tired of the fake smiles, living in a dream. The real life's bleeding out in the cold. Gotta break the mold, gotta let it unfold. I'm about to say it, every single word. The uncomfortable truth finally gonna be heard. I'm gonna say it.
Good and blessed Sunday morning. I hope you all are doing good. It's a rainy day here in the A, so if you're out and about, please be careful. Drive safely. How's everybody doing? You enjoyed your Thanksgiving, right? Enjoyed football games, things of that nature. Giving you all a few more minutes to come in. I got a couple of guests that I need to send this out to real quick. Yeah. And then we're gonna get started with today's show because I'm not gonna keep it like Sunday. And we typically don't even do Sunday shows like that, but there's always time to do things differently, right? And so let me go ahead. I got my invite sent out. Let's go ahead and get started. Something I find funny, but yet I'm actually, no, I can't even say that. It's actually a disgrace. It's actually disappointing, right? My backup account. As y'all know, I have a backup account. And I'm going to continuously post things on there that are facts, things that have actually took place and transpired. And the things that I post on there, I've gotten strikes for, right? But this one right here is the most craziest of them all because I made a post and I put a hashtag with the word chaser behind it. And they flagged it because of that hashtag. And I started to sit here and I started to think that it is, wow, it's, I have such a disdain for this platform. You know, when we get to a point where a platform that is used by a lot of people are more concerned with governing and what you're saying and like even innocent words such as chaser can get you a strike, but they are totally okay trying to protect a PDF file or a PDF, right? It's like, where is the morals? I'm Those of you that follow my backup account, please understand and please know that I'm still going to continuously post things that are relevant, things that are beneficial and educational. I'm going to continue doing so. We took a family trip because we went up to the northeast for a family vacation. And I haven't been to Philly, wow, since the '90s. Back when we was for a promotion up there, I did some things with a promotion called ECW, and RIP to New Jack. But there's some things up there that we came I took my wife to that I haven't been to in a while. This right here is downtown Philly. And the street is like would be closer to us, but that's the building you see right straight ahead. Now, to the right of this, when you walk up here to the right of this, there's actually, and it's covered, of course, it's got like a glass thing over it now, it's preserved, but it's actually George Washington's house where it's set, right? And it gives you the layout of how his house was and where things were placed and stuff like that. Rochelle, thank you for the heart me. Lori, good morning. Good morning. Thank you for the heart me. Now, after you pass that and you go on towards this building that you see right here, once you go on towards that building, closer towards that building, and look to your right, you get to see, and this is encased in glass as well, this right here, right? You get to see this as well. That is the famed Liberty Bell. That is the famed Liberty Bell, and I'm going to give you all a more closer view of it because this is one of the things that we saw while we was up there as well. So let me pull that up for you. Bring it a little closer. It's right there. It's right there. Okay, you feel me? And so the reason why I show this is because at one point in time, our country was supposed to be about liberty or was about liberty. So they say. So they say, right? And the thing is, it's clear and apparent that we have little to no liberties at this present time. And I say that because of what I opened up the show about. You see, it doesn't matter if you state something on here that is of facts that can be vetted. If this platform doesn't like it or doesn't, let me rephrase that. If this platform doesn't think that you are speaking positively on behalf of something that it's clearly promoted, then it's going to strike you. And as I told you all before, I'm going to continuously post on that. And if they take it away, so what? I'll just make a new one. I told y'all that, right? And so, and I stand firm on that. You see? And so this is what it doesn't like you talking about, you know, when you putting things out there that are true about this said man, or I guess you could call it a man, in this picture right here. But as you can see, exactly, Rochelle, I'm going to say it. We're going to keep it $150. That's what we do. And you all can see what the title says. And if you can't, I'll read it to you. It just basically said, I'll just paraphrase because like I said, you know, it's basically telling you that there is tapes of the Cheddar Color Cult leader doing things. And yeah, I know you hear this DOJ saying, well, no, we investigated everything. We put out everything. There's nothing to see here. This, that, and the third. You hear Trump Republicans saying, okay, well, the survivor said that he didn't do anything or they didn't see him do anything. And which I addressed that last show, that those particular victims may not have seen him do anything. Doesn't mean that he didn't. There's a lot of victims. I even posted on my backup page where one of the victims is doing an interview, and I even told you all before in my broadcast, a lot of the times these survivors are saying he didn't do anything out of fear of their lives. Now, if you go on my backup page, you'll see that same a survivor, I'm not going to say it, a survivor was doing an interview, and you can clearly see that this young lady is scared. And when they asked her about this wet fart, she says, no, I didn't see, but I really don't feel comfortable answering it. Like, she's scared. She's like, I really don't want to talk about it. Like, but you can tell in her mannerisms, she was only stating what she felt she needed to say in order to be safe. She said it out of fear of her life if she had told the truth and stated what really happened. Don't believe me? Go on my backup account, look at the interview yourself. All right? Now, let's proceed to other things about this dude here. Here's the thing. What's going on in Venezuela? Or the boat, I should say, that was in the Caribbean, that he, along with Pete, decided that they would, these people in a boat, and then they painted the narrative that they were transporting D-Rugs, right? Now, here's the thing with that. I'm not here to say if they was or wasn't. I don't know. Here's what I do know. They were not a threat to our country. In fact, it's been stated that they didn't even have enough fuel in the boat to even reach our country. So there was no way they could be smuggling D-Rugs into our country. But get this, people. Not only did the people in the boat, but after they done that, 2 people that were in that boat survived. And then guess what happened? They came right along, and those 2 survivors. That is what we call war crimes. And my only question is, how long? And I'm speaking to Dems, I'm speaking to independents, I'm speaking to people that are supposed or took an oath to uphold justice and serve justice. How long? What is it going to take in order for justice to be served? At what point did it become one man, one administration is higher than the law? When did that happen? We've seen them file lawsuits against people, Comey, Letitia James. And what happened? Those lawsuits got dropped according to a judge. A judge decided, like, no, you don't have enough evidence to do this. So now they're playing with the court systems as well. He disregards anything a judge says. If you and I would have done that, if just us, just citizens would have done that, we would have been incarcerated immediately. So how is it that we have all these things as far as evidence on this man and nothing's happening? How is it we have evidence on so much corruption in that cabinet and that administration and nothing has happened to none of them? This man has sat here, we have people who constantly badgered Biden for pardoning his son Hunter. But it's not a peep when you have a cheddar color coat leader that pardoned 100 plus more of rioters from J6, only for a lot of them to reoffend on sexual charges once they're out. but it's not a peep. No, nothing is said. Let's bring this show home. Let's get to our point, because I promise you all we're gonna keep you long on your Sunday, and I want to hold true to that promise. But I want to point out something as well, since that base loves to bring up Biden's name, since this orange turd loves to bring up Biden's name. Even to the point where when we're talking about this guy who the two National Guardsmen in DC, they say him. He says it's Biden's fault. Biden let him in, flew him in. But yet, that person was vetted and granted asylum by this person. Here we are, people. A little over a year into this man's, from this man, quote, and I air quote, winning that competition in November of 2024. And he's still blaming Biden for things. That's not going to happen. That's not going to fly. It's just not going to work. This is all him. And I find it strange that we just had, this guy, had a guest in the White House from Saudi Arabia that was known to have unalived certain people, or responsible for the unalivement of people. He was there, and then only a few days later, we have an Afghan person that does that in D.C. to these two National Guardsmen. It's just the timing is so suspect to me. I just don't know. But moving right along, speaking of Biden, when Biden was in office and they were going against each other in that competition, one of the things that his base was always saying was the Dems were wrong for not being open, transparent, and honest about the health crisis that our former President Biden was going through. And to that, I have to ask, why aren't you all identifying the same thing when it comes to the cheddar color coat leader? Because clearly there is health issues. You can't, let me see. Hold tight. Let me see. I'm going to try to do this for y'all again. Hold on one second. All right. Let me see if I can get this good for y'all. All right. Let's see. That pops up. Does that look like a healthy person to you all? I'll go ahead and answer that because I want the truth. No. Just I know that there's Mango MAGA mindless minions in here that would say he looks extraordinarily great. And we all know that that's a lie. That's a bold-faced lie. He's about to tank. He's about to hit his face on the table. So we already know for a fact that's not a healthy state. So let's listen to the audio of my man Harry breaking that photo down that I just showed y'all. And in addition to that, he'll also cover what I spoke on previously as far as the war crime that has been exhibited by this guy and Pete Hegseth.
All right, folks, look, the photo you see of Donald Trump on your screen right now is real. This is not edited. It's not AI. This was a photo taken of him at his club in Florida today, and he just looks like crap. And I think the stress of his administration crumbling before our very eyes is getting to him. Not only is he declining, and we're seeing that every day, but this explosive story surrounding his possible war crimes and the war crimes of Pete Hegseth just got even worse for his administration. We're going to cover all of that and more in this video. Before I do any of that, make sure to subscribe down below, drop a like on the video, comment, let me know what you think about the story. Let me know how your day is going. I hope your holiday weekend with Thanksgiving was wonderful and you were able to relax, because I know there's so much crap going on in the world. But without further ado, let's dive in. So this is Tim Miller from the Bulwark podcast. You may know him if you listen to like political podcasts and whatnot. He's great. And he said that a listener of his passed along this photo of Donald Trump enjoying a meal at his golf club earlier today. And I do have to point out that he did hashtag Maha, as in make America healthy again, because this guy does not look very healthy to me. I'm not a doctor. I don't have a medical degree. I'm just doing the eyeball test right now. And the eyeball test tells me that somebody that looks like this and is showing clear signs publicly of cognitive decline, of physical decline. I mean, his body is also going. Doesn't look very healthy to me. Let's just look at the zoom in version. And I know, Donald Trump is kind of a jump scare, so looking at his face this close up is not appealing. But does this look healthy to anybody? Can the Republicans who type in my comments all the time, can they even try to sit here and claim that this guy looks healthy? And it's not like this is like a one-off bad picture. I mean, we have photos and videos of him falling asleep. We have photos and videos of him looking confused. This is not a one-off instance. This is just Donald Trump, the oldest president we've ever had, a president who will not release his medical results. He will not release the MRI test he had, the results of that exam, or give any specific details or allow his doctors to speak to the press about it. He won't do it. This is not healthy. And as I mentioned, I think some stress is getting to Donald Trump. I think that's what this boils down to, because of this upcoming story we're going to talk about. But before we do that, I also want to quickly show you this video of Donald Trump's recent walk, which a lot of people, some doctors have come out on social media, people who know better than me have pointed out that it looks like he's had a stroke. I mean, look at the way he's walking. Yeah. He can't walk straight. And
hey, you all, you know how we do here. We don't gatekeep information. So if you'd like to see the video of the audio that we're watching, so you can see what he's talking about as far as the cheddar color coat leaders stumbling, trying to walk. If you want a better view of the picture that I showed, just inbox me on here and I will send you a link to it. And that way you can go and view it for yourself.
We've seen this plenty of times. All these videos of him walking in meetings or whatever it might be. He stumbles all over the place. He's going back and forth. He's swaying. Look, it doesn't look good to me. It doesn't look good to me. But now, I think this is what's really getting to Donald Trump. I think the stress is building up. Not only the stress of the Epstein files, of Republicans resigning from Congress, the indictments of James Comey, Letitia James getting dismissed, among the many failures that Donald Trump has suffered recently, but it's this war crime story that the Washington Post reported on yesterday that has really rocked his administration and even gotten Republicans concerned as well. If you're not familiar, the Washington Post reported on this verbal order that Pete Hegseth gave, the Secretary of the Department of Defense, regarding this boat in the Caribbean. And his order was, quote, kill them all. Yeah, that's highly illegal for a number of different reasons. Illegal under international law, illegal under American law. And then when they struck the boat, there were two survivors, and then they struck them again. So there were survivors.
Click this orange heart up here. All right. Claim your daily points. That serves as your check-in, lets the platform know you're engaging and things of that nature. Right? So make sure you get that. God's child, thank you for that heart me. I appreciate that. Make sure you all do that. We have, I think it's 3 message to you for the live goal. If you can help us meet that and you can push us out in the algorithm, I'd appreciate that and get us in the FYP. Thank you.
survivors who we don't know if they were bad people doing something bad. They could have just been innocent fishermen. They could have just been innocent people on this boat. They were defenseless. They did not pose an immediate threat to the United States. They're in this huge ocean with no ships around them, and then they struck them again, which obviously is very concerning. And now Donald Trump and Pete Hegseth are being investigated by both the House and the Senate. And both of these chambers are led by Republicans. This is a statement that Republican Senator Roger Wicker, who is the chairman of the Senate Armed Services Committee, put out with Senator Jack Reed, a Democrat, the ranking member of the very same committee. Their statement says the committee is aware of recent news reports and the Department of Defense's initial response. And I love how they're saying the Department of Defense, not the Department of War, which Donald Trump had renamed it in quotations, regarding alleged follow-on strikes on suspected narcotics vessels in the Southcom area of responsibility. The committee has directed inquiries to the department, and we will be conducting vigorous oversight to determine the facts related to these circumstances.
Let me pause it right there for a moment, because one thing I want to point out is, especially to the Mango Mindless MAGA minions and the Trump Turdians, I need your attention, because see, this is something you can't just blame on a Dem. You can't just blame on Biden. You can't blame it on Hillary. You can't blame it on Obama. You can't blame it on Hunter. You see, we have a Republican and a Democrat coming together and stating, and I'm paraphrasing, I'm just giving you the real McCoy. They're stating this needs to be investigated. This is a crime. So you can't say anything about it being the Dems is doing anything. Listen, people of your party are agreeing, are crossing the aisle with their colleagues and saying, this is enough. I told you, y'all are having a bad go of it. I told you, you chose racism over rationalism in that competition in November of 2024. You did not. You absolutely did not put the qualified candidate in the position to run our country. And look what you have. Look what you have.
Vigorous oversight. And this is coming from a Republican-led committee, a joint statement between a Democrat and a Republican. That's right. We have a bipartisan agreement on this story among elected Republicans. Of course, the MAGA fan base is saying, oh, Donald Trump did nothing wrong. He can just kill whoever he wants. He's president, right? That's totally legal. Of course not. But these elected Republicans are also concerned, and the House is doing the same. The chairman of the House Armed Services Committee, Mike Rogers, a Republican, and ranking member Adam Smith, a Democrat, issued a similar statement together saying this committee is committed to providing rigorous oversight of the Department of Defense's military operations in the Caribbean. We take seriously the reports of follow-on strikes on boats alleged to be ferrying narcotics in the Southcom region and are taking bipartisan action to gather a full accounting of the operation in question. Again, they're saying rigorous oversight. This is a Democrat and a Republican. This is a bipartisan agreement that's not only taking place in the House, but also the Senate. The walls are really closing in on Donald Trump in this story. He was hoping that Republicans would just stand by him, defend his ability to, in his mind, just kill anybody he wants. He sees somebody, he's allowed to take them out, and his claim is, well, I'm president, I can do it, right? That's what Donald Trump thinks. It hasn't gone that way. And on top of this, to make things even worse for Donald Trump, a group of former military lawyers put out a joint statement today making the case for Donald Trump and Pete Hegseth to not only be investigated for war crimes and murder, but held accountable for these things. In this statement they wrote, the former JAGS working group unanimously considers both the giving and the execution of these orders, if true, to constitute war crimes, murder, or both. This statement is scathing for Donald Trump. They write as well, if the U.S. military operation to interdict and destroy suspected narco trafficking vessels in a non-international armed conflict, as the Trump admin suggests, orders to kill everybody, which can reasonably be regarded as an order to give no quarter, and to double tap a target in order to kill survivors are clearly illegal under international law. In short, they are war crimes. War crimes. If the U.S. military operation is not an armed conflict, this would subject everyone from SecDef down to the individual who pulled the trigger to prosecution under U.S. law for murder. They are, they are not messing around here. They write how their actions likely violate the Second Geneva Convention because people that are wounded, sick, or shipwrecked, and persons and members of, quote, crews of the Merchant Marine are considered protected persons under Articles 12 and 13, respectively, of the Second Geneva Convention. They even write how in the Hague Convention that orders to, quote, kill them all are also illegal. And they also write how many of these violations could happen under U.S. law as well, in addition to international law. There's some serious stuff going on here, and I want people to remember this interaction between J.D. Vance and Democrat Brian Krasenstein. J.D. Vance in September said, killing cartel members who poison our fellow citizens is the highest and best use of our military. Brian said, killing the citizens of another nation who are civilians without any due process is called a war crime. J.D. Vance said, I don't give a shit what you call it. Maybe J.D. Vance cares now because his administration is subjected to criminal liability for this. There will be an investigation, as we saw, and there will be some consequence. So look, I just had to break down the story on the possible war crimes that Donald Trump committed, but also this photo of him just looking absolutely awful. I mean, it's tough to look at. Anyway, look, I will leave the video there. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure to subscribe down below. Drop a like.
All right, let's give it up to Harry for that. Let's give it up to Harry for that. For covering that unbiasedly, bringing you nothing but facts. I can most definitely applaud that. I'm all for that. I also love the fact that there is Republicans and Dems working together in order to uphold the law. You see, I don't think it has anything to do with a party. I just think it's about morals. It's about following the law. I mean, if your administration is supposed to be about law and order, then that's what it should be about, right? You should know, or you should want the laws to be followed if that's what you are champion that you represent. Osuna, I sent you a guest request to come up in the panel. Now, you got 30 seconds to accept that because you are in here trying to spew right-wing propaganda, and I'm going to give you the attention you want. Here's the thing. What I want to say to you, I'm not going to. I'm not going to, because no longer am I going to allow you all to get me in a position to where I'm not even, that's not me. You see what I'm saying? I'm working on me. No, don't comment in the don't come in the live, Osuna. Bring your tail up here in the box. Let's talk. I sent you the request. You got 30 seconds. Yeah, it's pretty much what I thought. It's pretty much what I thought. I'm going to pray for you, Osuna. I'm going to pray that you learn to think for yourself and stop hopping on people's shows regurgitating the right-wing propaganda that you being spoon-fed. That's lies, all right? But may you have the day that you deserve, since you're not man enough to come up in the box and speak your truth, that your truth. Notice I said your truth, right? It's not mine. It's definitely yours, all right? And so we are going to just go ahead and get that out of here. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining me for another episode of hashtag I'm gonna say it. I want you all to enjoy your Sunday. Spend time with your family, y'all. Spend time with your family. Just take it easy, because as you know, Monday gets here far too soon, right? And then it's back to the grind.
Tired of the silence.
So I want you all to have a good day.
The sugar-coated lies.
Remember, we'll be on tomorrow. I'm not sure of the time right yet, but we will be on doing the show tomorrow as well. I'm thinking we're going to cover, I want to talk about the documentary. Yeah, that's what we'll do. We'll talk about that documentary that 50 Cent is supposed to be dropping on Netflix Tuesday. So I think Monday will be good. Tuesday, we might have a show. I'm not sure. I have to go film my scenes for the last show or last episode of Dope Girls on YouTube. So depending on what time they tell me I gotta report to the location to do my scenes, we may have a show on Tuesday. But if not, if we don't have one on Tuesday, we'll be back on Wednesday for sure. If time permits, we'll have a show on Tuesday as scheduled, right? So stay posted on that. I'll let you all know tomorrow. Sancho 310. Let's give Sancho some let's give him some attention. They're looking for it. We pray that you get sense, common sense, because clearly you don't have that anymore. You like to follow a Bubba sucker and believe everything that he says. You like to champion and protect a PDF. So we're gonna pray for you, Sancho 310, with your face covered up. Yeah, that's what we're doing. I swear they hop on here and act retarded. They pre-tarded. But in any event, all we can do is pray for them. Y'all. That's all we can do. Pray for them, because they know it is crashing down. Willie Smith, my brother Willie Smith says, President, no accountability. Exactly. And they crashing out, Willie. They see that the plan that they thought they could put in place, that whole Project 2025, they could put that in place and they could make this country porcelain white, and you are failing at it. It's not working. We're not going nowhere. Even your own don't even buy into the rhetoric no more. And it's so funny. All y'all talk about is the alphabet community. All the while y'all crash and grind the apps in every city you go in. You got your speaker at a house doing an interview with his wife, and when his wife goes to touch him, he like ew, like you don't want your wife to touch you. That doesn't look authentic. Not at all. Oh, poor Sancho, you are free now. You are free. Yeah, you are free too. You are free to get the heck up out of our lives, because we don't buy into that rhetoric. We don't care nothing about your right-wing propaganda, fake news having stuff. We don't care about none of that. Matter of fact, Sancho, I'm sure you got a Grindr app appointment you need to get to, don't you? Have the day you deserve. Hey, this has been your self-proclaimed favorite news reporter, Mr. Breaking News, and I'm signing off from the newsroom. Peace and blessings to you all. Yes, Sancho, even you. Although that do means you have to believe in Jesus or in God, and where you idolize a Cheeto. Hey, can't say I didn't pray for you. Look, I love y'all to life. Peace and blessings to you all. You could be anything in the world. Be somebody.